Well, this is me doing the video blog I wanted to do a while ago. I don't even know if it's going to come out, because if it doesn't flow, then it's just not time and it's not meant. I was watching World Star Hip Hop, and there's this guy talking about relationships. It was either today, August 10th, 9th, or 8th, sometime this week. I think he was talking about, the caption was "Why They Don't Work." I personally have a lot to say about it. I kind of feel like right now isn't the time, because of the hour. The sun is up, and I've worked, not all night, but done a lot of talking today. The first thing that I want to address concerning relationships is that you have to know what you want. What you want, knowing what you want, has everything to do with what you'll attract. Regardless of your faith, or if you have no faith, you just, doing the laws of the universe, law of attraction, secret thing, it's what you ask. Dr. Wayne Dyer, who was into Taoism, he goes through a lot of different, holy books, but he likes to say that who you are and what you do is what you're getting out of life. I'm paraphrasing. He did a whole, just a recent series on a public station network talking about how you ask and you receive. And that's something Jesus said in the Gospels that he got from, but it's true. Who you are and what you want is what you're attracting. The values you have for your life. Sometimes people ask for things in a mate that they're not exuding themselves. That's not in harmony with the universe. The universe is trying to always bring itself into a state of oneness, into a state of unity, harmony. Which is why people are always trying to educate peace, which is why people go to jail to bring about reform. The universe and all that we do, you'd be surprised. People in poverty are working, saving money to get out of poverty. Everyone's trying to collect to this medium that is harmony, which is peace, which is love. If you're not living as the type of person you like to attract, you're not going to get them. And more importantly, do you know what you want? Because what I found is that we speak out of what has hurt us in the past. We speak and we live out of where we come from. Broken homes, dad not there, mommy not there, fear, abuse. Maybe you did have both parents in the home. Maybe they weren't supportive. Maybe they were humdrum, meaning that, they're 9-to-5er, go with the flows, and you're you go through and you seek these people who have all this flair and fire and passion, because where you come from and who you are isn't that. Okay, that's fine. Opposites attract. But what you'll find happening is that regardless of what kind of mate you've chosen, yay, they're a little different, or yay, they're a little the same, but are you happy with what you have? See, a lot of times the universe doesn't allow us to be happy after a certain point with who we've chosen, because it's not harmony anymore. The band-aid of the person that you're with that soothes, or the ointment of the person you're with that soothes that hurt and that dysfunction from your past, after a while you'll be healed. Or after a while, it's kind of boring, or it stinks like most ointment does. And then what do? You throw away a good thing, or you start breaking away from a good thing, or you may just sit down and what you think to be a good thing, you start wasting away. You leave and you're unhappy, and you don't know why, and you beat yourself up. Why did I leave such a good situation? Because your reason for being that person had everything to do with a dysfunction. It had everything to do with somebody that had spiritual and authoritative control and influence in your life, not giving you the example and setting you up for success. Well, what is success, LA Tour? Success is you being able to hold what it is that you want in peace and being able to let it go tomorrow. And you may still want it, but it can come or it can go. See, these asphyxiated, obsessive relationships, heavily emotional. If you're in the second, third week, maybe in the second month of just this utopia of emotion, it's not real. Real love and things that are solid are things that can come or they can go. But your love doesn't change. See, that's what will hold you when you're married, or if you choose to go forward in this relationship. Is, okay, this person does this, gets on my nerve. This is something I really don't like about this person, but you know, I love this person. When it's emotional and it's riding that wave of euphoria, you know, when you're first involved with that person, it has everything to do with how they're making you feel. Why is it so important about how that person is making you feel? I've never felt this way. Because you want to escape another feeling from your past. The dysfunction, the abuse, the hurt, the lack of. That's why that person feels so good. And you get with that person and it doesn't last. It's kind of like being thirsty, you know. You're so thirsty. You've been weeks and years thirsty. And instead of water, you get some Gatorade, which is really good. It's high in electrolytes. It's good for, you know, replenishing your system. But you can't drink Gatorade forever. What you need to do is get a more stable source of what your body needs, which is water. And the source of water, not just going to the store. Being healed, recovering from the issues of your past and your upbringing have everything to do with the longevity and success of your relationships. I'll dive even closer. There's people, I'll talk about myself, there's people who have very willful and controlling parents. You know what type of person, what kind of parents someone has, because they tend to be really rigid. They tend to be A-type. They tend to be very scared. They tend to be very, have a lot of anxiety. They tend to be very fearful. They tend to be very careful and wary. They tend to plan a lot. Well, they do all this because of the controlling environment they came from. Some emulate and are able to, you know, reciprocate the environment of control, you know, which is still in a sense of authority. And some of us, like me, go the other way, which is fear, planning, manipulation, watchfulness. Because we didn't take the aggressive side, we took the passive side of that environment and doing what we can to get what we want and survive, which just bottom line has a lot to do with fear and manipulation. What happens now? What kind of mate do you choose? Those who take the more aggressive side tend to choose someone who's more passive, because again, the universe is trying to create harmony with itself. People who are mega aggressive or very A-type, they don't seek other A-types. Where is there room to breathe? There isn't. The both of you are both trying to take the lead, and it's just not going to work. You're going to know on the first date. You're going to know in the first month, first year, if you even go that long. You're going to reach, and you know it for yourself when you think about the other relationships. The aggressive, planning, A-type, controlling person is going to reach somebody who's more docile, more soft, more forgiving, more pliable, more easygoing, lighthearted. And in that, they create a balance. Okay, that's fine, right? But what happens? The person that's an A-type, that's aggressive A-type, is in love with control, is in love with power, is in love with being able to dictate. But they married or they're with somebody who's the opposite. So does that give them a place of rest and a different, perspective? And does that soothe them in a certain way and bring them down, to a place of peace and balance? Yes. But they've got that thing turning in them from their upbringing. To where, yes, I love that you're so chill about this situation, but it gets on my nerves that you're not being more proactive. I love that you can forgive what somebody did to you, but I can't believe you're going to let that slide. I love that you're kind of letting God work, concerning what's going to happen with our family. But what are we going to do about these bills? What's the plan of action? You sitting on it? I mean, it's a love-hate. Because all of that I've shared has everything to do with their upbringing. It's what's promoting their future. It's what's defining and outlining and blueprinting what they do, how they act. That's just one little instance, and I can go into all kind of different scenarios concerning abuse and dysfunction. People who, are overly romantic, broken homes, broken heart early. People who are distrustful, people who have lied and walked out on them. A lot of orphans are in that place. Out of this, you have passive and aggressive behaviors. People who take the victim mentality and do what they can, maybe not. And people who take the aggressive path, which is I'm going to do something about it, I'm going to create a new future. No, it's about being here. Well, what are you talking about? Just one more time. It's about the balance and the harmony of life, which is this happened to me, but I'm not going to go about trying to rectify and fix it. I recognize this happened, and I'm just not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to let this and what happened define me. This happened to me. I was subject to this situation, but this is not who I am. Who I am is who I choose to be. Because whether I went passive or aggressive back then, I made that choice. Moving forward, I'm not going to try to just fix my behavior and rewrite history. I'm not going to try to become, passive and pliable and peaceful upon my own accord, because I will and I choose to. Because are you doing that out of peace and harmony and love, or are you doing that because you're really not over what happened to you? See, and that's the thing. There's nothing wrong with wanting to make changes. There's Dr. Phil's and Oprah's and all kind of self-help books and Bibles and religion. Okay, but why are you doing why are you trying to make that change? If you're doing it out of the pain and the suffering and the provocation of your past, then all you're doing is being the bully on the schoolyard that's bullied at home. There's no healing in that. You have to surrender past and future. And let who you really are that you've never even seen come about, because you don't know. You know what you want, you know what you don't want, but you don't know who you really are. There's all kind of behaviors out of what I've described, by which would take eons to break down, codependent, abuse, hurting people, hurt people. I mean, it goes on and on. But where I am and where I feel I'm approaching in my life is the balance. I'm not going to try to fix what happened in my past. What I do and how I live is not going to be tied to where I come from. I'm going to surrender it all to realize who I am and what I really wanted this whole time. Which means I may still carry where I came from, but I will not be doing what I do because of where I came from, and I will not be trying to fix it upon my own accord, because in that is still falsehood. I hope you can understand what I'm saying. And out of that, I'll see who I'm supposed to be with. Again, you choose somebody maybe on this side. We both have come through what we've come through, and we made decisions to not repeat the past behaviors of our parents and our families, and you came from this and I came from that, and I will not be a part of that, and XYZ and la 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 la. That's great you made that decision. That's so wonderful that you said that I won't have this abuse, for me and my family, and I won't risk, keep the cycle going. That's great. But again, why are you doing that? Because if you're doing it out of a hurt that happened, you're still hurting. If you're doing that out of an anger and frustration of how your life had to go, you're still mourning. If you're doing that out of, for me, it was just like a sadness. You're still feeling the effects of where you came from. And you're with somebody who's doing the same. And are you really past it? Are you really in love? Are you really walking in love? Are you really at peace? And I'll stay there. Are you really at peace? You're not. because your actions are spurned from something. This has to be as if it never happened, so that you're free to really be who you are and enact what should have been. You know, there's not many people that I can pull from examples of. Actually, no one even comes to mind, because there's people who have been through horrible things in their life, and what they pull from is what's happened, and the pain of it, that becomes their passion. The pain can't be your passion. What you hold to be true and believe in peace. In peace. I say peace because that's what runs off each side. We're in America, and there's, Democrats and Republicans, and out of our upbringing, we speak and we debate. Okay, well, you're not going to win nobody like that. All you're going to do is push them away. You ever try to force your opinion on somebody? You ever be too zealous or too passionate about a subject? It pushes people away. That's what happens with two people who have chosen to overcome, where they came from and X, Y, Z and la, la, la. It's too much fire. It's too much passion. Even if you both seem to be walking hand in hand and you guys are, kinesthetic concerning your belief systems, the both of you are still hurting. And what you're doing on this side, both of you, is still provocated or still initiated from a hurt or something still going on. You got to be in peace. True love is it can come or it can go, but my love is not going to change. Real love is that hurt. You hurt me, but I still wish nothing but the best. I can't help it. I love you. It's not based on what you do and you don't do. It's not because you're fulfilling something that I wanted my whole life. Because what happens when somebody else can fulfill that even better? You're gone. Or you're mourning like, oh, I'm with this person. This is really what, You have to be healed. You have to be whole. You have to forgive and truly forget where you come from. What's happened? How do I make amends? You choose to. It may not be, for a lot of people, an instant thing. But, like I said, open with everyone who asks receives. In every direction that you turn yourself to opens another path. And if you turn yourself to wholeness, you will not go lacking. It may come in all kind of different sizes and shapes and situations. It may come in people. It may come in a season of not working. It may come in a season of working hella hours. You see, because a lot of times we can't allow a change to happen in us because we're not broken. Sometimes what happened to us in our past is so linked with us that we're actually enslaved. And the thing that happened to us is now the thing that owns us. You may ask to be free, you may ask to wholeness, but you know what? You need to be broke. And the strength isn't in the chain, the strength is in the hold. It's put on your mind and your perception on what's true. And over time, I guarantee you, this thing, you'll realize that this little shackle ain't really attached to nothing but your arm, and that you hold the key. It takes months, sometimes years, to realize that. And then you can get into the things I've been talking about. Everybody's path is different. It all has different stories and characters, instances and times for us to all reach wholeness. But the wholeness that you would receive for your relationships, for yourself, is not just for you, it's for your children. And if you don't have children, your nieces and nephews. And if your parents are still alive and the people closest to you, it's for them too. Because when you get free, everyone else gets free. When you see something in your family and friend trend that you all are a part of, and friends usually have the same issues, that's why you're friends. Relatability. When you get free, you offer something for your friends, a challenge. And it's nothing you have to say. It's the freedom in your face. It's the change from who they saw. It's the change in responsiveness to the thing they used to see you act out upon and respond in a certain way. It gets people's minds to going. You can't be with anybody that you want to be with if you don't know what you want. You can't know what you want when you're still responding out of the traumas and pains of your past. And you sure can't create future angry, disappointed, and still reeling from the effects of the past. I don't know if you know about the story of Genghis Khan, the ruler that ruled from Mongolia in who knows what year, but he went through a lot. His testimony is one of suffering that I can't even compare to. But out of that he rose, and in America we applaud people who rise from the ashes and do something upon their own accord. But so many people died so that he could conquer so many. He conquered all of Asia, and if I'm not mistaken, some of North Africa. How many people died? He went through a lot of suffering, and he suffered. He caused a lot of people to suffer. Hurting people hurt people. I don't care if you've done something great with where you came from. Is there peace? Is there contentment? Is there love? Is there selflessness? Is there passion in giving and selflessness? You know that what you're doing is in peace when you can do it without ever being charged for it. Not that you don't care for how you'll live and how you eat and what, but you can do it forever. This is what you were born for. This is what you were created. I don't know what to say for anybody else who doesn't believe in creation, but this is what you came for. This is who you really are. And you're going to attract someone doing the same thing. Are you happy at your job? Are you just going through the motions? Is there a big cord of unhappiness with your job? Okay, well, that's who you're attracting. You want someone who's full of life and living life on their terms. Are you? There's a lot more that I can say. I feel like this is going to be a 2, 3, 4, or 5-part session, because a lot of just my life codes or understandings are written within these relationships. But I believe in background. I believe in foundation. I believe in people knowing what and why, not just saying this is what you do. My name is Elator Evans, and I am still learning.